Hey there, welcome back to Finance Zoo channel. In today's video, I want to discuss a topic that's raising eyebrows everywhere. Dave Ramsey and the looming question. Could Russia and China plot to dismantle the US economy? Fasten your seatbelts, because this one will take us on a wild ride through uncharted financial territories. You might know Dave Ramsey, a famous money expert. He's got people talking because he's been talking about something big. Let's dissect Ramsey's insights and unravel the potential implications in today's captivating discussion.
Oh, by the way, undermining the U.S. economy would not be profitable for all of those other countries because they're supported by the U.S. economy.
What's even more intriguing is that they might be considering using a new kind of gold-backed money. But here's the twist. Dave Ramsey says these countries could stop using the US dollar, and if that happens, it could cause some problems. You know, lots of countries use US dollars to buy oil from Saudi Arabia. If those dollars come back to the US all at once, it could make prices go up a lot. This brings up a big question. Should we be worried about the US dollar? Dave Ramsey seems to think so. He's also talking about these other countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and whether they could be a danger to the US economy. There's a lot of talk online about it. Dave Ramsey's ideas are interesting, but looking at different opinions is important too. Money stuff can get pretty complicated, so let's keep an open mind and see how things unfold.
So, no, they're not going to kill themselves by killing us. That's economically. It's counterproductive. And the idea that you can get all of those communists to line up and not try to shoot each other is going to be humorous on the long play. They might be able to do it in one day in August, but are they actually going to pull this off? Listen, they couldn't pull the euro off in Europe to the level that it had any effect on anything. And those people all get along versus the group you're talking about. So I think it's they're working on it, but I don't think that the chances that it's going to change your life or change my life is there, personally.
Dave Ramsey's take on Russia and China's whole situation is pretty clear. He doesn't seem to believe these countries can convince Saudi Arabia to mess with the US economy. He believes the Saudis are too smart to risk hurting their interests by undermining the US economy. Plus, he highlights that if 40% of the global GDP goes down, it could have a ripple effect and harm the countries trying to make this change. Dave also brings up a valid point about the practicality of getting all these different nations, some of which are not exactly on the best terms, to work together smoothly. He compares it to the euro in Europe, which faced challenges despite the relatively cooperative nature of those nations. In essence, Dave's opinion seems to be that while these discussions might be happening, the chances of them successfully pulling off a move that significantly impacts the US and global economy are quite low. He even adds a touch of humor, saying that expecting all these countries to align perfectly is like expecting them not to try to shoot each other. Overall, Dave Ramsey's stance suggests a healthy dose of skepticism about these plans' feasibility and potential impact, aligning with the idea that preparing for such a scenario might not be worth the concern.
Total economic and governmental collapse, and the only plan then that works is bottled water and bullets. Gold is a joke, because no one trades gold bars in the middle of a collapsed economy, and certainly no one trades paper money in a collapsed economy. But the U.S. government, our way of life as we know it, private property rights as we know it, all the real estate I own would be taken by the next guy with a gun.
Dave Ramsey has a pretty straightforward take on all of this. He's not too worried, and he puts it in a blunt and kind of funny way. He's saying that just like he doesn't have a plan for a meteorite striking the Earth and causing total destruction, he doesn't have a plan for an apocalypse scenario either. In those situations, according to Dave, the only things that would matter are bottled water and bullets. Gold. He thinks it's a joke, because who will be trading gold bars or paper money in the middle of a complete economic and governmental collapse? He paints a pretty grim picture, suggesting that in a true collapse, property rights and our way of life would go out the window, and it would all come down to survival instincts and basic resources. But despite this dire perspective, Dave isn't losing sleep over it. He's not stockpiling supplies or dwelling on it too much. He mentions how some of his friends might be getting overly concerned, spending too much time reading about these scenarios. He even had an argument with one of them, telling them to get off the internet. He points out the futility of worrying about something that's both unlikely to happen exactly as predicted and nearly impossible to control. In short, Dave Ramsey is telling everyone not to get caught up in the fear and anxiety of these apocalyptic scenarios. While it's interesting to discuss and consider, he suggests that it's not worth losing sleep over, and that the practicality of many of the proposed plans falls apart when you consider human nature and the complexities of cooperation in such situations.
At their core, evil people cannot continually agree because they serve themselves and don't serve others. And so you can't find unity in that long term. Number two, if they represent 40% of the economy and they use 40% of the world's economy, which I'm not sure that number is accurate. I think that's pretty high. But if it was that, and if they destroyed 60% of the economy by doing this, then they've destroyed themselves in the process, because everything they do hinges on the you freaking S. Hello. I mean, it really does. And that's economic mathematics. So no, I'm not worried about it.
Dave Ramsey brings up two key points that shed light on his perspective. Number one, he emphasizes the difficulty of maintaining unity and sustained agreements when dealing with individuals or entities driven by evil motives. According to him, evil people, at their core, prioritize self-serving interests over the greater good and the well-being of others. He asserts that this inherent nature prevents them from consistently working together towards a common goal, as their actions primarily revolve around personal gain rather than cooperative progress. Number two, Dave dives into some economic mathematics. He questions the accuracy of the claim that these nations represent 40% of the world's economy. Still, even if it were true, he points out that if they were to destroy 60% of the economy by their actions, they would inadvertently harm themselves in the process. He underscores the interconnectedness of economies and highlights that even their own stability hinges on a functional global economic landscape.
I honestly do not spend any of my time planning my personal finances or my life around the end of the world.
Dave Ramsey's take on the uncertainty surrounding potential scenarios like aliens and the end of the world is both grounded and humorous. He humorously mentions that if aliens were to take over, he'd probably give Will Smith a call, acknowledging the unpredictability of such events. He points out that he doesn't have a plan for these extreme situations, and he makes a tongue-in-cheek remark about the idea of someone throwing frisbees in front of cameras being interpreted as evidence of aliens. He then brings it back to his personal approach. His investment of time and worry in these scenarios is almost zero. He firmly maintains a practical perspective when it comes to financial planning as well. He doesn't spend his time planning his life around end-of-the-world financial scenarios. He even shares that he's made a promise to his kids that if he ever starts writing about the end of the financial world, they should unplug his computer. Dave contrasts his attitude with other financial experts, who tend to predict doom and gloom scenarios as they age. He's committed to a positive and realistic mindset, steering clear of sensationalism. Dave also adds his unique insights to the numbers provided by saying they're probably overstated and highlighting the tendency of certain cultures to exaggerate. He playfully jokes about the drama queens in both Russian and American cultures. Moreover, he provides an interesting observation about China's future economic prospects, citing a declining birth rate as a significant factor that could hinder its ability to remain a major economic player in the long run. Dave's feedback on these extreme scenarios and economic predictions is lighthearted, practical, and laced with his signature blend of financial wisdom and humor. As we wrap up our exploration into the intriguing world of economic speculation, courtesy of Dave Ramsey, it becomes clear that while the notion of Russia and China dismantling the U.S. economy might make for captivating discussions, Dave's grounded insights remind us to approach such scenarios with a healthy dose of practicality. His perspective extends beyond the topic at hand, highlighting the futility of overhyping extreme situations and the importance of focusing on what truly matters in our financial lives. What do you think about this topic? Let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Finance Soon channel. I'll see you in the next video.